The canyon people have the tall walls of their canyons protecting them from the wind, and they also like to prevent the heat from escaping the canyons too quickly by covering them with a lid. People gather small canyon rocks, crush them into sand, and mix that sand into the clay, not only to temper it, but also to form a sympathetic bond between the clay and the rock that makes up the canyon walls. Then they form the clay into a tall flat-sided pot, and make a lid as well. After a pot and its lid have been fired, the lid is placed atop the pot, and that is where it's meant to forever remain. The pot is placed by one of the canyon walls, next to all the other pots that have been made, and the lids on all those pots make the canyon lose heat much more slowly, as if the canyon itself were a lidded pot as well. Any tall vessel that's not covered by a lid could confuse the magic, even if the lid is only lifted occasionally, so tall vessels are not used for anything mundane. People drink their lemongrass tea out of shallow cups, and weave only shallow baskets. And the canyon walls are seen as majestic and powerful, and thus the residence of the most important god. He holds up the tall walls and protects the canyons from the hostile powers of nature, and rather than being worshipped in general, the canyon wall god is prayed to at every wall, each of which has its own name. And as the pots are sympathetically connected to the walls, he also resides in every single lidded pot in the canyons, so a pot is not only an item of magical utility, but also the residence of the most important god. And back in the ancient past, when the canyon people started setting up the first windless zones, they thought of each zone as a lidded pot, and lined the borders of their zones with pots, which were tempered with crushed rocks from their home canyons, and then with the rocks they found in their new homes. But as time went on, their ideas changed, and nowadays there is only one sacred pot, kept in a tiny hut that stands at the very center of every windless zone, inhabited by the demoted canyon wall god, now known as the personified essence of warm weather and still air.